Right, welcome everybody. It's great to be facing a little webcam again, and for our Saturday afternoon, we are broadcasting from the KwaZulu-Natal North Coast in Westbrook, and it's been an exceptionally hot day here today. So trust me, I am wearing pants and I'm not here in my underwear, so you can be sure of that when I stand up in a moment. So welcome everybody. I'm glad everybody's around to see the talk today. So I'm very excited to share some what I would consider to be very important points with you today. And I will be standing up in a few moments, and I'm going to be using the flip chart behind me to go through some points, so we can really zoom in and gain as much knowledge as we can this afternoon for our talk, which is going to be around the Immufort product from New Image. And this is the little baby here that's proving to be such a win with the current virus situation. And we're going to expand more about this product in a moment. So what I want to encourage you to do is to please stay until the end, because we are doing a live draw. There's going to be prizes to 3 lucky people, and the prize is going to be a can of the Shape Up. It's the chocolate flavor, and there will be 3 people and each will get 2 cans. So pay attention, because what I'm going to discuss with you will be the questions that you will get towards the end of our talk. So pay attention. They hopefully should be really simple questions. They are not paragraphs. They're just very simple one answer answers to those questions. So let's kick off today. I see everybody saying hi on the screen. Welcome to you all, and let's get moving. So I'm going to be standing up, and as I said, I am wearing pants. So just because it's a hot day today in KZN doesn't mean I'm just in a shirt. So let's get going. Right, so as our topic says today, we are talking about, are you playing Russian roulette with your health? And I'm going to be flipping over the page here onto today's agenda. And today's agenda is looking at the product, which is the Immufort product Ultraboost Colostrum. And we're going to be taking a closer look at this product to find out more about what's in it and how it works. We are also going to be looking at the Immufort Ultraboost Colostrum and its part in the coronavirus. And also the next part would be colostrum as an oral passive immunotherapeutic. So the recommendation of using this product as a therapeutic product for the current virus situation. Number 5, how susceptible are you to the coronavirus? I want you to really pay attention here, because there's a lot of points that we're going to bring up that you can really improve on. And just a few more points over the page. I want to talk briefly about the stages of the virus, so you get a better understanding of how this virus works, and your susceptibility factors. These are the factors that make you more susceptible to the virus. What are they? And the key nutrients involved that we recommend that may help you to support and strengthen your immune system. So as we go over, and we first of all start with Immufort Ultraboost Colostrum. This is the little bottle right here that I showed you earlier on. Okay, and what is it made up of? So first of all, we have colostrum powder. Okay, all I'm going to be doing on this page is writing down what the components are and the milligrams of each component. So the colostrum powder, for those of you that don't know, is 550 milligrams. 550 milligrams. The immunoglobulins is 220 milligrams. The calcium is 1.9 milligrams. And the lactoferrin is 9.6. And no, I don't have another screen in front of me reminding me what it is. I know what they are. And just at the base of this we have the directions for use, or the dosage every day is 2 tablets daily. So let's move on now. Alright, so here we're talking about taking a closer look into the product, breaking it down to what we've just written now, and just expanding a little bit about the components of what makes up the Ultraboost Colostrum. So the colostrum powder, for those of you that don't know much about colostrum, it's a natural food supplement that is basically a pre-milk liquid. And we're also talking about bovine colostrum, which means it comes from the cow. And what it is a superfood basically that is packed with an army of proteins and antibodies which help the body to fight bacteria and viruses and a lot of common infections that we get. And just moving one down, this is quite a big word, immunoglobulins, and basically what it means in short is antibodies. All right? So what is an antibody? It's a protein molecule, okay? It's produced by the white blood cells in the body, and if we sort of drill down to that, we're talking about the white blood cells, but more specifically the B cells or the plasma cells that make up where the antibodies are produced. So what I want you to understand more importantly is that the colostrum, the Ultraboost Colostrum specifically has added to it certain types of antibodies. We're going to start with, first of all, the IgG. And this antibody is the most abundant antibody. It's also the smallest. So if you look at a picture of what IgG looks like, in molecular size, it's one of the smallest antibodies, but certainly the most abundant. And it does make up 80% of your total antibodies. So moving one down, we've got the IgA, and that is predominantly in the lungs and in the GI tract. So it acts like an anti-inflammatory actually. So it's for the current virus, it's very, very important because it works with the mucous membranes, the lungs, the gastrointestinal tract, and it was also having a look at some of the studies in it, showing that it's 5 times the strength of most of the other antibodies when it comes to viral infections in the respiratory tract. So a super important antibody is IgA, and then moving one down, we've now got the IgM. All right, IgM means it's like the paramedic of antibodies. Okay, it's the first one on the scene. It's a rapid antibody. It develops very, very quickly in response to an immune reaction. It is also the largest in molecular size of the antibodies. And I did make a note here and read about its relationship with vitamin A, showing that a deficiency of vitamin A also means you've got reduced IgA here actually. So I just wanted to mention that. I know we were talking about the IgM, but the IgA, we will talk about that at a later stage possibly, and its relationships from IgA to the vitamin A. Very, very interesting relationship between those. Being deficient in vitamin A also reduces your IgA antibody. Right, so the IgM, I'm just going to cover these quite briefly because it's a really long topic and we don't have all day to discuss that. We're going to move down to calcium, which is the most abundant mineral in the body. If you didn't know that, I'm sure you probably know that by now. Taking up 99% in the bones and in the teeth. That's where most of your calcium sits, and at any one time you have about 1,200 milligrams on average in the body. So it's a very important mineral, and its uses are really around the structures of the bone and the teeth. Okay. The other use that it has, it acts as a cell-to-cell signaler. It is very important for nerve conduction and muscle contraction. So the body uses a lot of calcium, so we must make sure we keep adequate levels of calcium coming in. Alright, lactoferrin. Well, I think by the word ferrin, most of you may know that ferrin is to do with iron. So it's an iron binding protein, right? And it regulates iron absorption in the bowel. So it's predominantly down in the bowel in the lower areas. And it's largely found in colostrum and breast milk. All right. So a few points about lactoferrin. It's an antimicrobial, antioxidant, and anti-inflammatory all-in-one product. So the results and the studies are showing how effective lactoferrin is in the gastrointestinal tract. It's really showing its weight here, and the quality of that product and what it can do for viral infections and an anti-inflammatory. So I'll give it a great thumbs up, a very good component. Right, the Colostrum Ultraboost and its part in the coronavirus, points of interest, white paper summaries, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down here and just talk to you briefly. I have a paper in front of me where there's a few points that I wanted to bring up that I felt were very important. And by the way, this comes from our chief scientist in New Zealand, who's very kindly put this information for us together, talking more about the value of colostrum in relation to the immune system and the importance of the immune system today around the coronavirus. So the ability of oral colostrum to protect from upper respiratory tract viral infections, gastrointestinal tract viral infections, and sepsis, and the cytokine storm related inflammation is well established in a large number of studies in infant and adult clinical studies. All right, so this is not something new. The role for passive immunity and immunotherapy. So what is the role? There is a consensus that immune function is a strong defense against invasive pathogens such as the coronavirus, and it has been confirmed that the immune system played a vital role in defense against previous coronas infections like the SARS-CoV and MERS. And what I wanted to just touch on here is the rationale for the use of bovine colostrum to treat human infections. Well, the rationale is because bovine colostrum contains naturally occurring polyclonal antibodies. What does that mean? Now, polyclonal means you get, it comes from various different white blood cells. Monoclonal meaning one specific type coming from one cell. So the colostrum has more of a, let's say, like a broad spectrum of antibodies, which is much better. It gives us more ammunition and it gives us more strength. If you're talking about the history and the safety of using bovine colostrum as an oral immunotherapy, bovine colostrum is well established to be safe when used as a standalone oral supplement or as part of a dietary supplement. animal toxicology studies have shown there were no adverse effects in daily consumptions of levels reported in various efficacy studies. So this goes right up to the equivalent of using 60 grams per day of colostrum with no side effects. Now, 60 grams a day, you have to do your maths and put your dosage together and understand how much that is. It's not that excessive actually. If we take 2 tablets, that's 110 milligrams, 1,100 milligrams for 2. So it would be really 5 or 6 times more than that, considered to be a high dose. All right, I'm going to go back to my flip chart and I want to move on to the next section. Right, here we want to discuss, we're going to start on how susceptible you are to the coronavirus, but just before we get into that, I really wanted to be sure that we go through a little bit of how this virus actually works, just for your knowledge. Okay, so this is all about the strength of the immune system. All right, so here we have the human cell. And right in the center of the cell we have the nucleus, which is made up from your DNA and your RNA. And here we have the little virus sitting on the outside. Okay? The Latin word for virus is poison. Okay. So here we have the virus, which goes through a process to get into that cell. And just before we go through the process, the virus here, this is not in proportion, by the way. A virus is a very, very small, exceptionally small substance. That's certainly not, you can't see it with the naked eye. And the profile of it looks like it's got these little spikes on it. And these little spikes, if the immune system is compromised and it manages to find its way to the membrane of the human cell and attaches itself, it can gain entry into the cell, right? So what is the purpose of a virus? Now listen to this. Okay, its purpose is to deliver its RNA into the host, which is you, okay, to be copied. Now, it wants to copy itself because it uses your RNA and your DNA as the duplicator. It can't copy itself, it uses your own. Alright, so once it starts to make copies, this is where the problem starts to arise. So we have a process of it attaching itself to the cell wall. It then penetrates the cell to get to the nucleus where it replicates. Okay, it then assembles all the viruses inside there and then it releases it. It releases all those viruses which duplicate the system to go and attach themselves to more cells, and then the cell just dies off. All right, some of the viruses remain dormant, and some of them, an interesting point here is that viruses also activate glucolysis, which is the release of sugar. So we want to make sure that the lesson here is, in order to hammer the virus, we must make sure that we keep our sugar levels low. So we don't want to, in other words, something like a keto diet would be actually very, very effective at this point. All right, so I want to just go back to this because some of them, when they go dormant, they wait. They wait for you to age. They wait for you to weaken. They wait for a nutritional deficiency. And they wait for stress. All right, so the moment your immune system is compromised, they then activate. Okay, so that's a little bit about the process of the virus. It's not in huge depth, but it might just give you an idea of how it works. And here we're talking about the susceptibility factors. Okay, so what are the factors? Number one, age. Nutrients is another factor. Your genetics is another factor. Your immune system, in other words, if it's compromised. Chronic disease is another factor, and certainly stress. Isn't it strange how this seems to come into every part of medicine, where we're learning as doctors, if you can treat stress, you can help so much just from dealing with the stress and getting people to manage their stress effectively. So let's just go back to the top. Age, what do we mean? As you get older, okay? I wanted to really share the statistics of age-related infections compared to, when I say age, I'm talking about the 80-year-olds, showing about a 14%, this is mobility rates, by the way, where people have died, 14.8% from 80 and above, and literally how it almost goes to half in the 70s. So we're looking at about the 7 to 8% mark, and literally as the decades come down, the chances of mobility reduce drastically. So age is certainly a factor, but there's nothing we can do about age. What we can certainly do something about, and I've highlighted this, is your nutrients. In other words, we don't want to be deficient in certain nutrients. Why? Because when you express a deficiency in a nutrient, your viruses become stronger. All right, that's very, very important. So it has a huge impact on your immune system, making sure that you are not deficient in certain nutrients. Then we get to genetics. Okay, there's not too much we can do about our genes in a sense. If we're talking about epigenetics, that's quite different, because that's to do with the environment, your lifestyle and things like that, which you certainly have control over, and those you can change. I mean, if you've got, like I've got grey hair, I've got blue eyes, and I can't change those genes, but I can certainly help my genes in many, many other ways, and that's a topic I've had a lot to do with, is epigenetics, and maybe one day we can share some information about that. It is an incredibly interesting subject. Okay, the immune system. So I've just made a note here, the microbiome or the microflora has a huge impact on your immune system. So if you've got a disruption in the microbiome, you compromise your immune system. Things like antibiotics, steroids, drugs, and even chemotherapy will, of course, reduce and weaken your immune system, which means you then become more susceptible to the virus. Okay? Chronic disease, certainly those people that have chronic diseases, heart disease, the cardiovascular disease, respiratory disease, all of them, chronic meaning you've had them for some time, makes you a candidate to be more susceptible. All right. Stress, it's strange that we have to actually make it obvious, but it significantly increases the chances of infection. All right, so there's no rocket science in that. There is certainly in what stress does to the body and how it strips the body. So too much stress, guys, has a big, big impact on you being more susceptible. So you want to make sure that you manage your stress more effectively. Get some more sunshine, do some meditation, go for walks, get some exercise. Find ways of reducing and managing your stress. All right. Next page. Here we're going to talk about key nutrients in the immune system. All right, and what I want you to consider here is the nutrients really are all about the absorption, because if you can't get them into the body, not that they're useless, but you need the maximum amount of absorption so that your body can take them in and use them. All right, and also the forms of the nutrients are very, very important. I see this so much where people, go shopping for vitamins and minerals and things like that, and they just grab whatever they think is good off the shelf. They probably just don't know what they should be looking at, but you've really got to get somebody to assist you, because the form that it's in plays a big role in how much your body absorbs of that vitamin or that mineral, to the point where even in certain combinations they work more effectively. Some work better with others. Vitamins enjoy friends. They enjoy certain other vitamins that they are more efficient with. So, and you can see a straight line here. And I'm sure that if you can see the screen, you're probably wondering, I wonder what that is. Well, let's fill in the gap. Immufort Ultraboost Colostrum. Your key nutrient number 1 for prevention, and also looking to, if you have a viral infection and you want a really good product that provides instant passive immunity. All right, it gets into your system quickly, it's in the right form and in the right mix. Immufort with a T is a fantastic product, and I'll tell you in brief, my father 2 weeks ago contracted COVID-19 in a home here, and when I heard the symptoms over the phone, I immediately jumped on and sent through to the nurse, because I wasn't allowed to go and visit him, because they'd had, they were quite strict with their rules and regulations. So I gave strict instructions of what I wanted to give him, and this was on top of the list. And I gave him 4 times more than the recommended daily dose. So that was 2 in the morning, 2 mid-morning, 2 afternoon, and 2 before he goes to sleep. All right. I also gave him vitamin C. All right. So just briefly, with a few of the select vitamins that I gave him, he was 100% at the age of 88. He was back on his feet. He was cleared up. I think, thank God, he's had a pretty good immune system on top of it, so that certainly did help. But I was very impressed at how he responded to good, solid nutrition and specific nutrients. So the second one here is vitamin C, and as you all know, vitamin C comes up regularly as a key nutrient to help your immune system. So does selenium, and we're looking for the organic form of selenium. Zinc, which helps the T cells and the white blood cells and the T killer cells. And vitamin D3, guys, you've probably seen, if you've been shopping for it, the shops are starting to be depleted of their stock. Very well known vitamin to be included in. There we go. There are a couple more, like coenzyme Q10 has been a superb product to add on to the list. But if you just stick to this, the vitamin C, to get in as much as you can, 2,000-3,000 milligrams a day, and in some instances they're doing super high doses. Wuhan in China at the moment is doing intravenous vitamin C of 24,000 milligrams a day, 24 grams a day. So you can take in large amounts through intravenous drip and against infection. So I hope that helps, and I'll see the shape up, okay, and there will be 3 people and each person will win 2 cans. So here goes with the first question, guys. In the Immufort Ultraboost Colostrum, what is the milligram per each tablet? what is the milligram amount of each tablet? Right, question number 2 is monitoring the first questions or the first answers that come through. The first person to answer will get their first cans. Number 2, what of Immufort? What is the answer? Okay, let's hope a lot of you have answered those questions, and let's see if Vinesh can pick up who's shortly. And again, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today. I hope you gained some information. Nice and warm today. The sun is beautiful. Please keep your excited to be doing the next one. Please follow us again. The next talk is going to share some more information with you on the King C from New Image. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Have a super afternoon.